Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am your host, Carmen McLeod, and I am here to talk to you about my passion for spirituality and personal development. My purpose in life at this time is to remind you how powerful you truly are and that you create your own reality. If the mind, the soul, and the universe are topics that interest you, and you want to continue to evolve into your soul's purpose, then you are in the right place. Thank you for joining me as I travel the world and record my journey through self-discovery. Hello, my dear friends. I am so excited to talk to you again about what's going on in my life and what is the next topic for discussion on the Friendly Frequencies podcast. But first, let's do some housekeeping. What am I up to lately? I've been home for about a week, just over a week, and I am just really, I'm really excited because I've gotten a few mural opportunities for jobs out here for money, which is exciting for me because the last few months I've been, having lots of mural jobs, which has been amazing, but mostly just trading it for accommodation and food while I've been traveling. So just to recap, I've been traveling the last 4 months and now I am home for a month and getting ready to go back to back traveling. So okay. I just realized now I can spill the beans about the secret I've been keeping from you guys this whole time. Okay, so I'm sorry that it had to be this way. I know I did not like to be, I always like to be as authentic as I can and just speak my truth, but I was not able to do that the last few weeks because I was not actually able to tell you why I came home. So now I can tell you because it's done with and now the secret's out and it's fine to talk about now. So the reason I came home, drumroll please, not a big deal for all of you guys, but it was a huge deal for me. I wanted to come for two of my best friends got married the other day, and it was a secret wedding, a surprise wedding. And so I wasn't allowed to talk about it, of course. Like, I knew that it was a surprise wedding, and they were supposed to get married next year, but they decided to just do it much sooner than planned, and so it was a wedding photo shoot that they said were for the invitations to the wedding, but it ended up being the wedding. And so it was just immediate family and the, close friends of the bride and groom. So I felt really blessed to be in the wedding party and to be not only, really good friends, best friends with the bride, but also good friends with the groom. So I've known them both for a long time. And so I'm so excited and so happy for them and blessed to have been a part of their day. And now I'm happy I get to talk about it. So it's not like I'm holding secrets anymore. But anyways, so that was something I got to do over the weekend. That was beautiful. And yeah, so I flew my ass back here for that wedding. It also helped that the Women's Weekend, which is what my last episode is about, that also was the weekend before this wedding, and so that also was another reason that I decided to come out. So originally, the thing that planted this whole seed is I met another Canadian girl in Vietnam, and we spent a few days together, and I was telling her how sad I was that I was missing the wedding, and she planted the seed and was kind of like, well, why don't you just go and surprise them? It is a big thing to do, but she was like, you should do that. And I was like, what? I was like, you're crazy. Like, I can't do that. I'm all the way across the world. Like, that's insane. And she was like, oh, it'd be a really kick-ass wedding present though, don't you think? And I thought about it for a few days, maybe a week. I thought about it. And then I talked to my mom and my aunt, and then they were like, oh yeah, definitely come. The Women's Weekend is the weekend before. Stop in California, then come home. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, these are two really important things that I already know I will remember the rest of my life and are really important to me. So, no matter how much money that costs, really, it's priceless. Like, making that wedding was priceless, and the Women's Weekend was also priceless. I literally, I talk about that a lot. in the last episode, but like I am so eternally grateful for, the Canadian girl, and for my mom and aunt for kind of talking me into coming here, because this has been so wonderful. And just to be able to be a part of these two things. So anyway, so no more secrets. It's all up. I've kind of, now I'm glad I got to tell you why I'm actually home. So anyways, now that we're kind of over that part, so what's next? Any updates? Oh yeah, so about the mural jobs, I have a few. I just made my way around town. I went to a few businesses and pitched myself for the first time, actually. Well, not for the first time, because I did this in Vietnam, but like when I was there, that it was nice. It was like a practice run for me, because I stopped at a few different hostels in Vietnam and asked them if I could paint them murals in return for accommodation and food, like I've been doing. And that was my first experience pitching myself like that. And it's quite a nerve-wracking experience from what I've heard from other mural artists. I had never really done it other than through Workaway and through, doing murals back home for people I already knew. So it was a new experience for sure. It was a lot of fun though, and it really wasn't so hard because I wasn't actually asking them for money. So I think that that's the hardest part, right? Is like, that's the hardest part about being an artist, entrepreneur, is like charging for your artwork. That's the awkward part, that you have to talk about the price and all of that. So I didn't have that part of it. So I think that just asking for accommodation and food was so simple and easy that I actually didn't have a hard time with it at all. So then I was wondering if coming back here, I knew I was gonna do this. I've been planning to pitch myself to certain businesses in my area for years now. And so I've always planned about it, and I knew it would be scary to do, but actually it was so easy because I feel like I've got the practice already. So I feel like I kind of was able to have the perfect practice and perfect like stepping stone to really pitching myself as a mural artist. And so that was really great. So I'll let you know how that transpires. I'm hoping to make, a couple $1,000s before I come back traveling, just to, a goal I actually do have while I'm here is just to make back all the money that I've spent to come down here. That would be really wonderful if I could just have it be as if I never, as if my bank account states that I've never left, like that would be amazing. And I know it's totally possible. So that's a goal that I have, and I will let you know when and if I achieve it. When I achieve it, no ifs. So yeah, and a couple, exciting business opportunities. I won't get into too many details right now, but I had an opportunity to start working with NFTs again, and I'll give more details once I have them, because this business meeting was just yesterday, and it was really exciting. I had lots of business stuff yesterday. It felt very official of me to be going to all these different business opportunities for myself, but I'll give you more details in the future episodes. But yeah, I think I have the opportunity now to sell my NFTs, but without dealing with all the bullshit that comes with selling NFTs. So I stopped selling NFTs, let's say I started it and I did it for a while, or I tried doing it for a while. Like I sold one to my brother, and I did have them up and running on a website. I had them on SoulSea. I had my crypto wallet. I had everything set up, but oh my gosh, I hated it. I hated every part of doing it. I had no passion for it. I understand that cryptocurrency is the way of the future and people are talking about it so much, and I felt a lot of pressure to get into it because it's the way of the future and you got to get into it or you're going to miss out on all these opportunities. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about with this, whether you're an artist or not. Like, everybody's talking about it this way. So I felt like I had to sell NFTs, and so I got into it. And it was exciting at first, but then I just found out, through trial and error, that I am not passionate about it. And I just realized that I can make money however I want. Like whatever lights me up, I'm going to find a way to make that to make me money so that I can enjoy my entire life and just have a kick-ass time. And so that's what I'm doing with the podcast and with everything else with murals. I love painting murals. I love painting and all of this, but I don't like I don't like the whole digital side of it. I don't like the cryptocurrency side of it. It's just not interesting to me. I'm not very tech savvy. I'm just not into it. So I decided I'm just going to not do it. So I cut that shit out of my website. No problem. I was like, okay, sure. I spent a lot of time on this, and some could look at it as a wasted time, but I'm going to look at it as I learned that it's not for me. And that time taught me something about myself. Like, how would I have known if it was for me if I didn't try it, right? You got to just try things. And if it doesn't work, it's not a wasted time. You're getting to know yourself better. And, then you get to know that, when you look back, at least you know that you tried and that it wasn't for you. And then you don't have to worry about what ifs and all of that, nonsense. So I felt okay with it. And then anyway, so now I'm getting back into the NFT world because I just got presented a really exciting business opportunity to work with people who I know previously, and who are business. I know one of them from previous in my life, and he and his business partner need an artist to make them NFTs, and I'm open to that, of course, because I would love to make more NFTs. I just don't want to deal with selling them and dealing with the cryptocurrency. So they need me as an artist, and I kind of need them to deal with selling it and doing all the other stuff. So this is perfect. This is exactly, what I would have wanted if I were to get into NFTs again. And so it looks like I'm going to. So it's another exciting update from me. So I'll give you more updates as it goes along. Like, I haven't signed any contracts with them yet. I haven't actually asked them if I'm allowed to start like actually talking about them, like their name and stuff. So I'm just gonna leave the details out of it, and I'll definitely share more with you once we actually make this all official. But I've already started making the NFTs for them, so it's kind of already starting up and getting going. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. So okay, that's the long intro for you. Thanks for bearing with me on that, and to anybody who cares about any of that. Now I can get into the, juicy stuff, the real podcast topic, which is I am going to continue my series on the laws of the universe. Let me rephrase. It's not the laws of the universe. The spiritual laws of success. Similar to the laws of the universe, but this is a book that Deepak Chopra wrote that I read in Cambodia, that I fell in love with, and it was a book that I read it a couple times actually, and I took lots of notes, and I just absolutely loved it. And really, like, if once I get through this series, and if you take the information, and it's not really coming from me, it's coming from Deepak Chopra, but I would also say it's not even coming from Deepak Chopra. It's coming from source. It's coming from like God and the universe. Like I think that they speak through him, and I guess it speaks through me as well. That's kind of how I see. Like, we are kind of just channels for this divine knowledge that is life changing. And so, anyways, I guess I'll just get into what I learned from Deepak Chopra. This is what I got from it. And I think that it's really amazing stuff. So the universal law of spiritual law of success number 2. I get these mixed up all the time because the laws of the universe some of them are interlapped with the spiritual laws of success. Like, some of them are the same as the laws of the universe. But there's 12 laws of the universe, and it's kind of a different thing, but it's quite similar. So, sorry, I keep mixing these up. But, so the second universal law, spiritual law of success. I have it written down as universal law here too. That's why I keep getting mixed up. The second spiritual law of success is the law of giving and receiving. I love this one right now because I'm actually have a few goals going on right now after the Women's Weekend of like implementation of the Women's Weekend and what I want to continue doing with Sterling, with the Institute, and also just in my own personal life. And that is being generous. I want to work on being more generous, giving back more, volunteering my time more, and just being overall more generous. And so this stems from, this is a perfect thing to talk about right now. And it also stems from, I had this chapter of the book gave me a good realization about myself that I need to work on. So, which I can talk about more about later. So the second, or the law of giving and receiving, it revolves around the idea that there is a constant flow of energy through the universe that is done through give and take. So it's just another, universal law. This may be also a universal law, which is that there must be a give and take. There cannot be give without take. There cannot be take without give. It's kind of like there cannot be there cannot be light without darkness, and vice versa. Um, we we must be able to give to receive. We must be able to receive to give. So I'm sure that some of you can see, just look, if you just are self-reflective right now, maybe where are you not able to do one of these things. Usually for some people, they're not able to receive. A lot of people are not able to, they can give so much love, for example, to other people, but when it comes to receiving love and compliments and just receiving love from other people, it's hard to take that and receive it. And a lot of it may stem from upbringing, from conditioning, and just from self-acceptance, self-love, and worthiness. For me, I have found that it's easier for me to receive than give, maybe, and that's just something that I've noticed, is that I do receive love, and I do, when I'm given a compliment, when I'm given anything, like okay, depends what it is. Okay, maybe when it comes to love, I've always, I think, been able to receive love with open arms, but when it comes to items and objects and gifts, I am very Canadian, and I remember I was taught by my dad growing up that when someone offers you something, you say no. You say no twice. So they offer it to you, you say no. They offer it again. Oh, are you sure you don't want this piece of food or whatever? You say no one more time. If they offer a third time, that means that they're insisting you take it, then you take it. That's what he always taught me as a child. And I don't know. I think that, and I still do, like if someone offers me some of their snacks that they're eating, like I'll say no usually, depending on who it is. If it's someone close to me, then I'll say yes. But usually I would say no. Or like especially if someone offers to buy you a coffee, that's a huge one. Like for all my Canadians listening right now, like when someone offers to buy you a coffee, how many of you actually say yes? And chances are you always want to say yes, because like everyone loves coffee, or just even like a tea. Like everybody loves something like that. Like there's no way that you would, usually you always do want it, but chances are you always say no. That's me as well. I do always like say no to being offered things. But then when it comes to other things, I have a hard time saying no, and I feel obligated to say yes. And I'm trying to think of an example of that. Like, just, I can't even think. Sometimes if like my mom would offer me to make me food, I remember like sometimes I would just say yes, even if I wasn't hungry, I would just say yes, because I just felt like I wanted to receive. I guess, I don't know, I just didn't want to say no. I'm not really sure where that even would come from, but you get the point. So it's important to to know how to give and how to receive. And if you think that you're stuck on one of these areas, then it's good to just acknowledge it and see where can you start to make shifts where you can open up that space to receive or to give. So for me, I do want to be more generous. I want to give more out to others. And so that's just something that I learned, especially through this chapter. So we must be able to keep the flow of giving and receiving circulating in order to have abundance. So this is where we can get into the topic of money, because I know everyone loves to talk about money. This is an important one, and this could be its own episode. Actually, I had this down to the idea of money blocks. I did want to talk about this at some point, and I could get into it now because it kind of relates to this. So when it comes to the flow of giving and receiving, if you want to think about it in the terms of money, if you say you're not wanting to spend money on anything, and I'm talking from personal experience right now, this is a money block that I got over fairly recently. Over the last year, I got over this money block just before traveling, luckily. I've always been a very like cheap person, where I would just kind of always save my money, and it worked out for me because now I'm able to travel for so long, and I've, saved up a lot of money to do this. But that's not why I saved it. I literally saved it because I operated from such a lack mindset of don't spend the money, like, and I don't know what it was really from, but so, I mean, it helped me up until this point, but now that I do have the money to spend, and now that I'm really, really aware of the energy that I put out, and, I wasn't aware of this kind of thing growing up so much. Like, my mom did teach us stuff about this, but, as you get into an adult mindset, you really start to understand, that if I was to continue not spending money because I felt that I didn't have enough, that puts out a signal to the universe, and that puts out a certain vibration. That's a money block. And that's actually blocking you from receiving more money, because you are putting out the energy of, I don't have enough money, I'm broke. And every time you say I'm broke, even if you don't have a lot of money, but the amount of, a lot of my friends say this, like, oh, I'm so broke, I'm too broke to do that, I'm too broke. Conscious language comes in there too. It's like you're putting out this energy of being broke, and that's blocking a lot of opportunities of money to come to you, because, I don't know, like, this is all about, this ties into manifestation. So, when it comes to the energy, I'm not going to get into all of this because I have a whole episode on manifestation. You can go listen to it if you want, but it links into that. Like, you are putting out, like, you create your reality with your thoughts and your beliefs and your vibration, essentially. So if you're always thinking about how many bills you have, or how little money you have, and you believe that, you're just going to keep having these money problems, and you believe that you're broke, and that there's not enough money to go around, and that it's not on its way to you, and that all creates your vibration, and your vibration is not attracting abundance, for sure. It's not. If anything, it's going to attract more bills and more of the things you don't want. That's going to take more money from you. So where am I going with this? So this ties into giving and receiving. When, if you are not able to give with your money, if you feel that you are not able to be generous with your money, that's actually blocking you from receiving more money. Because the more you give, the more you receive. It's the law. It's like kind of like the law of karma, which is, another law of the universe. It's that flow of give and take, give and receive. And the more that you can do this, and same with receiving. If you're able to receive more, then you should be able to give more as well, because it's just the flow. You got to stay in that flow. So where I got over this money block was, I don't know what exactly, because I got over this money block before I read this book, like a few months before. I think it was maybe through other podcasts that I listened to, I guess. I did listen to some on money blocks, but I mean, and there's tons. Like, I will do a whole episode on money blocks, actually, because this is I'm just talking right now about the one that I struggled with, which is in relation to this, giving and receiving, but there's tons of money blocks that I'm aware of that I don't have currently, but that are very common. So I would love to talk to you about that. But anyways, so when you're in this mindset of money flows freely to me, I receive money, I give money, because money is in a constant, abundant flow. When you're in that mindset, and it may take some time to get there, that's okay, but when you're in that mindset, you'll be very pleasantly surprised at how much money just shows up for you in your life. Like, I am constantly just expecting money to come to me all the time. Now, I have talked about this before, so I don't need to talk too much about it. This is also in the manifestation episode, but I'm always under this just constant belief and just excitement of, like, this money is just on its way to me, and I have no problem. Like, whenever I receive a check in the mail, I'm like, or no, whenever I receive a piece of mail, any piece of mail, I'm like, is it going to be money today? I think it is. Just, what do you have for me now? Like, what's the check here? And literally, you have no idea how many, like, random checks I receive in the mail for things that sometimes I don't even know what they're for. Like, I just don't know. They're from, just different things. And, And or just, sometimes it's like stuff that I am expecting, but see, when it comes to the scholarships, it's like, yep, I'm expecting the scholarship money to come in even before I've even won the scholarship or the award from my school, just because I'm in that abundance mindset. I'm like, I know it's coming into me. And so, see, that's my ability to receive, being well, that's the area that I have going on for me that's working out really well, is I'm able to receive this money, and I continue to receive it and be thankful for it. And now I want to be able to give it more freely. And so I did start to spend more money, and I've been able to, invest in my business, invest in myself, and just kind of pay for things that I feel are going to add value to my life right now. And this doesn't mean that, this doesn't mean that, go max out your credit cards, buy whatever you want, be impulsive and stupid with your money. Definitely not. Make smart purchases. But when it comes to like if you need something, buy it. And if you have the money to buy it, then buy it. Don't act in like, don't put it off for so long because you don't want to spend the money, because it's an investment. And a lot of the time, like the time that it takes you, like say if you need a new laptop, this is an example that I heard in a podcast a while ago, was like she needed a new laptop because hers was always crapping out on her, and she would have to shut it down, turn it back on, and it just took so much of her time to deal with this shitty laptop. And she would not buy a new one though, because it costed too much money. Even though she had the money, she just didn't want to deal with spending that much money, because laptops are expensive, but they're an investment. You keep them for a long time. So she realized after however long she'd struggled with this laptop that she had just wasted so much time dealing with this laptop that would, she would have to wait for all of the stuff to get shut down and come back on for it to work every day. And she added that time up, and she realized how much time she really wasted. And we all know, like, time is the most priceless thing that we have. So if something is taking up your time, no matter how much money it is, it's going to be worth it to fix that, to buy more time, essentially. So if you think about it like that, it'll be easier to let go of the money and just to let it flow. And another thing that I heard that I really loved is another great money mindset to have is the idea that you're actually not losing money at all when you spend it, because you're not giving the money away and now it's gone and you don't have that money anymore. Like, essentially, yes, you are, but when you actually think about it, you're trading the money for something of the same value or even higher value, who knows. It's not that you're just throwing the money in the garbage can, it's that you're trading it. That's what we've been doing for thousands of years, is trading something for other things. And it's how the whole economy kind of works in a way, like and so when you're spending money on something, you're trading it for something of value to you, and therefore you still have that money, but it's just in a different form. So there you go, you can think about it like that too, and it helps you with that ability to just detach and allow yourself to spend money on things that are important. And you'll find that with being able to do that, you'll be able to receive more, and you will receive more. When you're able to let go of that money block, you'll be able to receive more money in turn. So that's just something that I love I love that I was able to integrate my own experience there, because I've really enjoyed life a lot more since I've noticed that money block and shifted it for myself, because I now live with complete feelings of abundance and financial abundance, and now I get to buy the things I want, because I've actually realized that, oh wait, I can spend money. That's why it's there, Of course, set yourself up for the future, do the smart things with your money as well, the adult things, but at the same time, learn to also be able to spend money when you need to and when it's necessary to improve your quality of life. So that's where I mean, and so the money thing, that just ties into the circulation of giving and receiving to have abundance. But it's not just about money, of course. Like, it's with everything. It's with love, with friendship, with anything. You want to receive love, then give love. If you want to, you know, have people around you who are good friends to you and who love you and who are going to care for you, then emit that to others. Be a good friend to others. And just don't, do things for other people without an expectation of anything in return. And that is where I realized that I needed to grow, actually. So this is where I'll get into this part of it. Our intention behind giving and receiving is important, because you can be a really generous person giving millions of dollars to all of the charities and being, really generous. However, and that's great, but the next step is to have the intention behind it be very genuine and have no expectations of anything in return. Be detached from the outcome of it. Just do it because you want to make other people happy. You do it for the other people's well-being, not for your own. So this is another thing that I've needed to work on lately, and that I realized after reading this, is that with little things, I found that, and I did talk about this a bit in my Lessons Learned from Cambodia episode, but I learned that I will do things for other people, but I always kind of expect some sort of recognition for it, or just like even just a thank you. I've had to get over throughout my whole life. I've had to get over this attachment to the word thank you. Like, if I do something for somebody and they don't say thank you, I could not get over it, or like at least it would take me all day or something like this. Like, I would get so annoyed and feel so offended if someone did not recognize me for something I did for them, even for little things. And luckily I was able to break away from that many years ago, I'd say. I don't feel like I can't remember the last time I felt like this. It was probably in high school. But that's the same thing, as I was not able to give without the expectation of receiving in return. And so I was selfishly giving in a way. And so it's better than not giving at all. But if you really want to take it to the next level and live a more joyful life for yourself too, like, you'll be happier if you just detach from the expectations of something in return. So in the end, it is still benefiting you, even though it's not the point of it. So the point of it is that you genuinely want well-being for other people. And that's what makes the world go round. Like, we all need to look out for each other. We are all one, I believe we are all one universal consciousness. We're, and that's where it's hard to see how there's so much division in the world. There's so many, horrible things that happen between people just hating each other and having all these problems. But what I think is that we are all one. We all need to just look out for the best in everyone and just look for the well-being for the planet and for each other. And when you feel this way, I feel like, and you're able to give more and just give so that you're just making other people happy, because it's something that everybody should want, is for other people to be happy and for themselves to be happy. And when you make other people happy, you are automatically more happy. When you give and you are generous, if you think back to a time where you did something for somebody else and they, and whether you got recognized or not, you probably felt really good. I'm sure you can think of a time that you've done this, because everybody has done something for someone else. I think it's impossible to go your life without doing that. But so yeah, that's where I learned that I needed to grow, because, and I just noticed that was kind of, I think this is the chapter that helped me notice in Cambodia, where I was expecting like recognition for like doing the dishes or doing something that is so minor, that when I did not get recognized, I felt like I wasn't appreciated. But that was me just being selfish and wanting to do something for other people for the recognition of it. I mean, like I said, I don't really do, that's not why I do the dishes for other people. I do it just because that's kind of how I was raised. It's just kind of a natural instinct for me. And but still, it is still nice to be appreciated for what you do. But the importance is the just detachment. The law of detachment is another thing I'll talk about in the future. But just being detached from the outcome of what you're doing. Just do it for, just do it because it's the right thing. And at the same time, do things for other people, but also do things for yourself. So this doesn't mean that when other people are always asking you for favors and you just always say yes, okay, I'll do this, and without, any boundaries, like, there's a line there. Of course, you don't have to, you can also do sometimes the right thing is to say no. And that's another thing that I've struggled with and that many people struggle with, is saying no and drawing boundaries with loved ones around things that they need from you that you are just not able to do for them without disrupting your own well-being. So having too much on your plate and stuff like that. So just know where to draw the line of be generous and be generous. And that doesn't mean that you have to always choose other people before yourself, because yourself, you have to make sure your own cup is filled as well. So and that's where, you'll be able to receive. So when you're receiving all of this love and when you're receiving generosity and love and things from other people, your cup's going to be really full and you're going to be able to spill it over and give it back. That's why this whole cycle, this flow of giving and receiving is so important, because you need both in order for it to work out for everybody, for everyone to be happy. So now I'll just talk about how to practice this law. It's quite simple. I'm sure you kind of guessed it, but be generous with pure energy behind it. So, like I said, it was enough said, I guess. Just, you get the point. Be generous and detach from the expectation of something in return, because you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others, which in turn will benefit you. You will get your karma. I think that what goes around comes around for sure. Keep being a good person and keep giving and keep receiving, and you're going to keep receiving when you keep giving. It's just going to keep happening. It's literally it's the law of that's a law of the universe. It's a law of success. It's just how the world works. When you give, you're able to receive, and you're going to keep attracting all of that good stuff to you when you are able to do that. So even though you're not expecting anything in return, you can kind of expect something in return indirectly, So, but just do it for the well-being of other people, because you love other people. You should, because other people are great, usually. But yeah, so you don't have to when I'm saying to be generous, like, it doesn't mean that you have to give away all your money, or because if you really don't have the money to give or the time or stuff like this, that doesn't mean that those aren't the only ways to be generous. You can genuinely just give somebody a smile on the street, and we Canadians love to do this. I know I do. I love to smile and say hi to people, but even that is being generous, because you're just giving off your love and your energy by doing that. And I find I get really happy when I'm able to just say hello to a random person and they say hi back to me, and it's just a nice, genuine interaction. So that's another way you can be generous, is just to, say hello. And or even, if you even want to send a prayer to somebody, or just send them some love when you pass them. Sometimes I do this. Usually it's in a situation where if I see somebody who I feel like could use it for some reason, I just will, kind of pray for them, say, can you, hey God, can you just send some love to this person? And I hope they have an amazing day. Simple as that. And if you don't have to pray to God, you can just kind of send them some love and energy, however you want to go about it. And that's being generous too. It's very generous. And I can almost guarantee someone will want to do that for you in the future, will wish you, the best as well. So, and so then the final thing that you can do to practice this law is to openly receive love, gifts, energy, all of these things that come your way. So when you're presented with these things, you need to receive them, accept them, no pushing them away. And so some examples that I'll try and name some examples in case that, just to help you maybe see where you might do this in your life. Like if somebody gives you a compliment and you either say no, oh no, I'm not beautiful, I'm so ugly, or I'm so fat. You deny their compliment and therefore you don't receive it. Or if they give you a compliment and you say, you don't, instead of saying thank you, you kind of just like mirror it back to them and say, oh no, like I love your outfit. Like, whatever they say to you, you just say, oh no, or you just kind of like send it back to them. And it's a nicer way of doing it, but the point is that I don't think you've really received it that way, especially if you don't, and you can pay a compliment back to somebody after receiving it, so it just is the point is like, did you receive their compliment? Did you really take it? A lot of people can't receive compliments, and it makes them uncomfortable because they don't believe that about themselves. But chances are, if somebody is complimenting you, they genuinely think this. Like, why would somebody randomly tell you that they like your outfit if they didn't like it? You don't have to make that stuff up, it doesn't make sense. So that's just something to think about. Like, that's a way that you may need to start receiving. And then when it comes to, or gifts, like, or, if you're out for dinner and somebody wants to pay for your dinner, if you do not let them, I know my family is notorious for this, like, they will go battle to the death at lunch about who's paying, and they will refuse to be paid for. And there's a point where this is polite, and there's a point where it's just you not being able to receive a gift from somebody else. And, it is polite to offer to pay for your own meal or to pay for somebody else, definitely. But when somebody's insisting that they want to be generous, then it's important that you say, thank you, I receive it. And just receive it and be thankful for what they've done for you. And just, because it feels nice for them too to also be able to give. And then you can pass it on to the next person you go out for lunch with. That's a much more healthy and in-flow way to do it than it would be to just deny them and don't let them pay for you and insist that you pay for yourself. That kind of blocks the flow. So, and love. I mean, let people love you, and you can only love as much as you love yourself, and you can only love as much as you accept love from others. So if you are not accepting love from others, but you're also trying to love other people more than you'll let them love you, that's just never going to work, because it's all interrelated. It's all part of the flow. You must love, you must be loved, and just allow both to happen naturally without, and a lot of that has to do with self-esteem. And I would love to talk more about this subject another time. But definitely, and I learned a lot about self-acceptance and self-love and how to really come to that level of self-acceptance. I learned a lot of amazing things at the Women's Weekend about this, and I'd love to talk more about it if I can. So I'll get back to you on that in the future. But for now, this is where I will just kind of end off, because that's the gist of it. So if you want to start practicing the law of giving and receiving, then those are the 3 things that you can start doing, and they're quite simple. They don't cost any money. They just all they require is your awareness, I guess. And if you really want to do it, then just channeling your awareness and being introspective about where can I grow in this area, and then just start being more conscious about it and just start to do it. And when you come to the opportunity to receive a gift, then receive it. And when you come to the opportunity to be generous, also do that. And then there you go, you're in the flow. And ooh, that rhymes. So I hope that this was helpful. I know that this chapter was super helpful for me, and I have a goal to get really involved in the Sterling Institute and beyond is one of my main goals. I have 3 main goals that I have for just this next chapter of my life in regards to the Sterling Institute. I'm going to be working with them as a volunteer, and also joining these classes that just kind of reintegrates the knowledge that I learned at the weekend throughout my life. Like, my mom has been doing these classes for 30 years since she did the weekend at 18. So it's and it's completely paid off for her. And so I'm going to continue to do these classes where we just kind of, all the women kind of meet together and just talk about the material from the women's weekend and just continue to put it in practice in our life. And I'm really excited about it. And so I've written 3 goals around this kind of area of my life. One of them being generosity. I want to be more generous. So I'm going to give back to the Sterling community, where there's plenty of opportunities to volunteer, and as much as I can. And then, I'll be traveling for a while after. And so I wrote and beyond, because I want to continue to give back while I'm traveling, and while I'm home, I'm, getting back involved with the volunteering and things that I can do while I'm here. So that's just something that I'm putting into practice right now. And yeah, so I will let you know how that goes. And I think that's all I have for you. So thanks so much for listening. And I'm really excited to talk to you again next week. And we'll see what comes up for me between now and then. Maybe it'll be the next law of success. Maybe it'll be something else. I don't know. Gotta keep you guys guessing. Oh, and I almost forgot. I wanted to just say a big thank you, a huge thank you to everybody. Again, a huge thank you to everybody who has expressed their gratitude to me for this podcast, and I've received some really amazing feedback. I am so grateful that this is really helping people, and I'm really hearing the effects that it's having, and it's inspiring people. Just me living my life is inspiring people, but just the podcast that, people, I've been hearing so many things about, my travels, but also what I'm saying on the podcast is really resonating for a lot of you. And I'm so thankful that it is, and that I just received the most beautiful, since the last time I was on here, 2 such beautiful things have been said to me by 2 people, who in my life, who I really, like, it just made me feel so happy and thankful for this, for the podcast and for everything that's happening. I had one person say that I've saved them, or that my podcast is like saving their life, and that they've been going through a really hard time lately and struggling with different things, and like listening to my podcast while going on walks is saving them. And I couldn't even wrap my head around what I heard. I thought that it was maybe not serious, and I was like, I almost like couldn't even like take it seriously at the moment. But then I processed it, and then I figured, like, later I kind of talked through it with somebody and realized, like, oh my gosh, like, that was real. That was probably the best compliment I've ever received. It was so simple and short, but it was so powerful, especially the person that it came from, because that person doesn't usually get to that. Like, I've never heard that person I've known them for many years, and I've never heard them be vulnerable like that and speak like from that kind of vulnerable space. So that was really amazing. And then also I received a beautiful voice memo from a friend of mine over just today, and she just, completely made me feel so good about all the podcasts and everything, and how she's just so inspired by me and looking at me with so much, like, just really thinks so highly of me. And I felt so thankful that I have people think this way about me. And I'm so I was like, oh, I don't even know if I'm worthy for this, but but I know I am, because I am, this is exactly why I'm doing it, is for you guys, is for other people, because I just feel like I have a message to share, and it's not even my message. It's literally, I think I'm being channeled through, just like I was talking about with Deepak Chopra. Like, I don't think this is really, I don't think I can even take much credit here. I think it's, it's all God, it's all the universe coming, speaking through me. And it's really resonating, and it's working, and it's already changing people's lives. So holy shit. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for receiving what I'm saying. I cannot even express how much that makes me so happy, and it makes me feel like I'm really on the right path right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's all I have. I love you so much, and goodbye. I'll talk to you next week.